Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for helping us stay safe and joining us for this Midwest Energy television streaming open house. What I'd like to do is just take a few minutes to allow other people to join us. Sometimes, you click the link, it takes a second to load. We want everybody to get comfortable. This is going to take a few minutes. So go ahead and feel free at this time to get a drink, use the restroom, just get settled in. And we're going to have one session right now. We're going to have one session later. So go ahead and take your time, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. I'm back. Hey, everybody. My name is Chuck, here with MEC, and hopefully you have taken a little time to get comfortable. What I'd like to do today, one of our most often requested content is cutting the cord, and that means using our awesome high-speed fiber optic internet service to replace your current satellite or cable service with online television. And it's easier than ever. There are more options than ever to fit your budget and whatever you like to watch. So we're going to dive pretty deep into it. Now, as far as this goes, what I'm going to do is present a lot of information. We are going to record this. It is going to be available on our website afterwards. And we are also going to have a 6 p.m. session. So if there's anybody that you think would benefit from this, feel free to share that link. That's on our Facebook page. We're also going to share the link in our chat, which reminds me, to the right-hand side of this video, there is a chat. I have two of my amazing coworkers, Amy and Sergio. They're going to be taking a look at this chat. They're going to be trying to answer questions. But there's a good chance that a question that you ask, we're just going to go over. So they might just say, pay attention. Here in a little bit, we're going to answer that question. At the end, we're going to leave plenty of time to get any of those unanswered questions answered and help you definitely understand and learn how to use some of this stuff. So without further ado, I'm very excited. Let's go ahead and get started. If you show up late, perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. We're going to do it again later. So cutting the cord. The goal of this, like I said, we want to take advantage of online streaming services. There's a ton of them out there. They're getting more and more popular every day. They're adding more and more content every day. So we're going to tell you about some of those and what you need to do. So another term that you might have heard is over the top. That's been thrown around out there. It's just the same thing, using the internet service to watch TV and movies. You need a high-speed internet connection. That's where Midwest Fiber comes in. And then you need some streaming devices. Most of you probably have some already. If you have a cell phone in your pocket, that's a streaming device. If you have any sort of tablet or iPad, a smart TV, a Roku, a Fire Stick, there's tons of different options out there. So why would we want to do online streaming services? Number one, cost savings. Usually if you take a package that has History Channel, Discovery Channel, Disney for the kids, if you look at a cable-based service or a satellite-based service, usually the online streaming service is less money. So right there, it's cheaper. How many more reasons do you need? Personalization. This one is really cool because if you watch just a few channels or shows, there are many providers out there that just provide one or two channels, one or two small groups of content, and they're very inexpensive. And you can really personalize. One of the most common things that people will tell me is, I have a satellite package and there's 400 channels that I don't watch. Well, with these online services, you can really customize what you want to watch and avoid paying for most of that stuff that you don't. And then the last thing, convenience. I mentioned I went through a whole list of devices. These things are really cool. Not only can you watch them in your living room on your TV, but you can watch them on your work lunch. You can take them on vacation with you. If you own a second house, like a lake house, a cottage, or you go to Florida for half the year, you take these with you. You no longer need a satellite or cable service down there and a satellite or cable service up here. So these things are really convenient and they're made for you. What do I need? 3 things. Number one, a high-speed internet connection. I can't stress that enough. Without that, it's not going to happen. And the whole reason why we're trying to help you understand how to do this is because Midwest Energy is providing our fiber service, and our fiber service is the best type of internet there is. So once you get the fiber service, this becomes available to you. The second thing you need are streaming devices. I did a whole list of them. Most smart TVs have them. Roku, and I just want to make sure I heard a blip. Are we still up? Okay, good. I got the thumbs up. And I think it's less stretched now, so perfect. Hey, cool. Smartphones, tablets, laptops, and then you need a subscription to a streaming service. So this is where the money part comes in. Right now, you pay satellite or cable for their television service. Well, these subscriptions are what you pay instead. You're giving up the satellite and cable for hopefully a cheaper and more convenient option. This is what some of you might recognize. It's a house. I have a diagram here of kind of what most people's houses might look like if you have traditional satellite or cable. You have some sort of a satellite up here, and you have these wires running through all your house, and you have splitters, and every one of your TVs has some sort of a cable box or a dish box, something like that it's connected to. This is the old style. This is what you had to have with satellite or cable. The next slide that I have here is kind of what a modern home looks like when you use streaming services. You can see here that we have a quick description of what Midwest provides. We have a cable that comes up to your house. That's what the whole project of running fiber to your house does. We have then, and the installer comes in and puts the fiber jumper into a router. Every one of you have a router. That's how you get Wi-Fi and connect to the internet. Now, once you have this router, it becomes the source of your internet connection for all your devices. For cell phones, televisions, laptops, computers, security cameras, everything. Well, when it outputs Wi-Fi, you have tablets and TVs around the house. Most smart TVs can connect with a cable if you want to, but most things just do Wi-Fi. And as long as your Wi-Fi is good, you're going to have a great experience. So instead of having cables run all throughout your house, you now just have Wi-Fi, and you have your wireless devices around your home. A lot less clutter, a lot less cable, a lot less mess. Very easy to set up on your own. You don't need an installer or a technician or a handyman to come over to your house to do any of this. You just connect to Wi-Fi. I love it. Now, we talked a little bit about what it looks like. Now we're going to go into details, and there's a lot here. Don't take a lot of time to read every single one of those. We're going to have some information available at the end. There's some links that you can go back and look at some of this stuff. We also have some information available on our website. But these are some really popular streaming services. Regularly scheduled programs. This is really what replaces your satellite or cable. These are services that have your news on at 6. They have the current sports game on ESPN. These are things that you're completely used to. They have DVRs in them to record the content that you may have missed when you're not home. These services are exactly what you need if you are looking to replace your satellite or cable with a lot cheaper option. Now, there's also some cool free TV apps. These are a little bit different. They're free, which is always awesome, and they have some cool content, but usually they don't have the game that's on today, or they don't have the news that's on tonight. Usually it's a lot of reruns, but there's some really amazing content on there, and it's free. I mean, win-win. Over here is my favorite stuff. This is called on-demand content. Now, I guess maybe because I'm in the younger generation here, but I don't like to wait to see what's on TV. And if there's a show on at 8 p.m., I might not be available at 8 p.m. Maybe I want to do something else at 8. These services, Netflix is one of them. Hopefully, all of you have at least heard of Netflix. That's the most popular streaming service ever. It has a huge selection of movies and television shows that are just available. You don't need to wait to watch them. You click on them or you select them with your remote, and it just plays on your time. Then you can pause it and come back to it later. Thousands of movies and television shows. Hulu has an option for both. Hulu Live has live channels, and Hulu also has a ton of on-demand content. Hulu is one of my favorite ones. It's really a win-win. So that's the one that I'm actually going to show you at the end of this presentation. I have an example we're going to put on this TV, and we're going to go through the channels and some of the live content too. So really, really cool service. Amazon Video, a lot of you might have this and you don't even know it. If you pay for Amazon Prime shipping, you already have Amazon Video. They have a lot of original content that you can't find anywhere else. They have a lot of free movies and television shows, and they also it's a really good source to rent new movies and stuff. So instead of having to go to like a video rental store or a Redbox, you can just rent the video without leaving your couch. There's also some really popular ones. Obviously, MLB TV is Major League Baseball. For every sports fan out there, there's a solution for you. So if you like sports, just stay handy because we're going to show you some sports. But the big ones, HBO Stars, Showtime, all those have their own options for watching their content as well. Now let's talk about the devices. Now, these are three of the really popular ones. This one, the first one here, is my favorite. It's a Roku, R-O-K-U. It's a weird name. It's one of the coolest devices in the world. If your TV is not a smart TV, or if your TV just doesn't have the app for the service that you want, I guarantee you Roku has it. Roku has tons of free stuff. Roku has access to all of the services and subscriptions that you pay for. The Roku is a very simple device. It plugs into your TV, just like a DVD player would. And this device actually connects to the Wi-Fi. So if you don't have a smart TV, a Roku makes your TV a smart TV. But the Fire TV is the same thing, just Amazon makes it. And then there's another one, Apple TV. It's the same thing, just Apple makes it. They all have access to Netflix. They all have access to Amazon Prime Video. They all have access to Hulu, one of my favorite ones there. They all have some free apps, and they all have some ones that you have to pay for. So these right here is the epicenter of what you're going to need to do what you want to do. Unless you already have a smart TV, you can go to Walmart and purchase a Roku TV that just has this built into it. I think they have a 50-inch one for like $200. Don't quote me on that, but shop around. They're amazing. Now, we talked about what you need, the devices, the streaming services, and the internet. But what speed do you need? Midwest Energy, we offer 4 different speed packages. We have the basic speed package, the advanced, the ultra, and the gig. The difference between these packages is a speed number called megabits per second. I'm not going to get too technical on you, but think about it like water pressure. The more water pressure you have, the more sinks and faucets you can have on at the same time. If you have Netflix going on one television in the living room, that could use anywhere between 5 and 10 megabits per second. So you want to make sure you have an internet package that has enough to handle what your house is going to need. If you only ever have one TV on, one TV in the living room, the basic package might be the one for you. But if you have a family, or if you're going to have 2 or 3 TVs going on at the same time, you want to look at a higher speed package. If you have a house full of people and everybody has a cell phone and a tablet and a laptop, and you have 5 TVs and all of them have streaming devices, you're going to want one of our higher packages to make sure that you have enough internet service to go around to all those devices. So that's a little bit of information there. Now, I went through it. Hopefully you're starting to catch on a little bit. I don't really see any activity in the chat. Hopefully that means I'm doing a great job. But I've written the steps down here. 5 easy steps, and the 5th one doesn't even count. So 4 easy, really easy steps. Number 1, research what services fit your family. We went over a ton of stuff. Find your favorite device. YouTube, what we're actually streaming this through right here, is a really great source to look up reviews about some of this technology and some of these streaming services. Go to their websites. We're going to have links for that. Like I said, don't worry there. And figure out what the best option is for you. Number 2, use a device you already own or purchase a streaming device. Like use your current smart TV or get a Roku. And try it. Number 3, try it. You can't do anything unless you try it. Try a service for a free trial period. All of these services have free trials. 7 days, 2 weeks. The service depends. Some of them are a little bit shorter than others, but they all have free trials. You don't have to cancel what you currently have. You don't have to call up Dish and say, I don't want your service, just to try these. You just simply try them. If you don't like them, just keep your Dish. You're fine. Number 4, compare the prices. Once you find what you like, and once you understand what it's going to take to get your house ready, figure out if the streaming service you want is indeed less expensive than what you're paying for satellite and cable. If it is, step 5, cut the cord. So hopefully it was pretty simple, pretty laid out. I think right here, our future is bright. And then here are some of those links. We're going to share these, right? So you don't write them down. Don't do that. We're going to share these links, but we have some really cool ones. First off, our website, always a good website to go to. Next, we have, these are the streaming devices, Roku.com, Amazon, you can find it on Amazon. And then Air TV and Apple TV, all those can be purchased on Amazon and Walmart and Best Buy, all those big box stores. And then we have some of just the most popular streaming services over here: Netflix, Hulu, Sling TV, AT&T Now. So that's the whole presentation. But what I want to do, spend a little time showing you what it will actually look like. So pretend this wonderfully big TV is the TV in your living room. Give me just a moment. I got to switch it over. And like magic, it's a ball game. So what I have here in my hand is a Roku remote. Very simple. This is the whole remote. This is everything you need. It has a power button to turn your TV on and off. It has a volume button to turn your TV up and down. On the face of it, we have a home button, a back button, 4 arrow keys with an OK in the middle, and then one of these cool buttons right here, a microphone button, where you can talk to it, maybe ask it some cool questions. Now, when you turn on your TV when a Roku's plugged in, you see the Roku label up at the top. That's how you know you're looking at a Roku. And then we have some options over here, but those don't draw your eye. What draws your eye are these really cool apps. So just like on your cell phone, if you want to make a phone call, you tap on that app. If you want to send an email, you tap on that app. The Roku is very similar. If you want to watch Hulu, you go to that app. If you want to watch Sling TV, you go to that app. So I want to go to Hulu, because that's the one that we have here to show you. Hulu, Sling, AT&T TV. Now, these are ones that are real-time television. Hulu has both. That's why it's one of my favorites, but I at least want to show you a little bit of Hulu here. So you get your service ready. You create the account. You sign in. A couple steps in the background, but you get this. I just wanted to show you that you can set up different profiles. You can set up a profile for dad, mom, and kids. You can set up a profile for basement TV, living room TV, kids room. And the kids profiles have kid-safe content, which is super cool. So I want to go to the showroom one. And right here, this screen is really cool. Up here at the top, we have this live button, which is what you can imagine live TV. Down here, we have some where did I leave off? I can keep watching that basketball game that I was on. Here's some other things that I may have watched recently. We also have some TV shows and movies that are on demand. So I'll show you those here in a second. But let's go to some live TV. So we're over here on the live TV. And it's loading actually from the internet. We're not connected to a satellite. We're not connected to cable. And as you can see, this is the basketball game. Now, if any of you want to challenge me, if you go to ESPN, I bet you're going to watch the same game, because this is actual real live ESPN. This is exactly what you're going to watch with satellite or cable. You're just using the internet. And with Hulu, you're probably going to pay a lot less money per month for it. Just to show you an example, you can pause, play, and rewind. You can DVR this game if you really want. But I want to show you one of my favorite things, all the channels they have available. Now, they're in alphabetical order. And this is going to take a minute because we got to go through all of them. But I just want to show you what Hulu can provide to you. And then I'm going to tell you how much it is. You're going to really love this. So we have A&E, and this is local ABC. This is actually ABC 57 from South Bend, because right now we're in the Midwest Energy headquarters in Cassopolis, and South Bend is our local station. If you're in a different county, like St. Joseph County or Van Buren County, the local stations that you would get would be Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids, because that's your location. So don't worry about those locals. So here's another ABC that we're getting here. Well, it looks like we got two ABCs. That's cool. Two is better than one. ABC News, ESPN Accent. We have some really cool, they're called Adult Swim, but they're not adult channels. They're cartoon channels, comedy channels. Animal Planet, Big Ten Network. I told you sports fans we're going to go through all those. I'm just curious. How many viewers we got right now?
8.
Hey, cool. We got 8 viewers. Welcome. Welcome all 8 of you viewers. I hope you're getting some good stuff. All right. Boomerang, that's a kids channel. Bravo, Cartoon Network, more kids channels. Here is CBS. This is showing CBS 3, which is the Kalamazoo station. After a little while, it'll probably update and get the South Bend stations. I just had this Roku up in Kalamazoo, so it still might be remembering the Kalamazoo stations. Pawpaw. It was at our Pawpaw location. CBS Sports with me here. I'm reading the actual broadcast channels off over here. Cooking Channel, Cozy TV, Destination America, Discovery Channel, Discovery Family, and Discovery Life. Disney Junior, Disney XD, DIY Network. It's a really cool network. You should watch that one. E-Entertainment. And now here we go. You ready? ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, ESPNU. Tons of ESPN. Food Network. This is Fox 17. Again, it's given me the Pawpaw channels because I was just, the last location this Roku was in Pawpaw. It takes a minute to update. Fox Business, Fox News Channel, Fox Sports Detroit, Fox Sports Detroit Plus, Freeform, Fox Sports 1 and Fox Sports 2, FX and FXM and FXX, all those movie channels. FYI, Parking Wars is one of the coolest shows ever. I don't know if you ever seen that or not. That's a fun show. Golf, Great American Country, HGTV and History Channel, HLN and Investigation Discovery, Lifetime, Lifetime Movie Network, Motor Trend, one of the coolest channels out there, MSNBC, NASA. It's very hard to find the NASA channel somewhere. That's a super cool channel to have on Hulu. National Geographic Wild and National Geographic. So this is NBC Wood TV 8. Again, that's the Kalamazoo station. If you plug in your Roku in the South Bend area first, you get those channels. NBCSN Olympic Channel, which is also really hard to find. And Hulu's awesome because it has that. Oxygen, Pop, QVC, Science Channel, which is also really hard to find and on Hulu. ESPN Sec, the Smithsonian Channel is another really hard one to find that's also on Hulu. I really like Hulu. Sci-Fi Channel, TBS, East and West, Turner Classic Movies, East and West, Telemundo, TLC, TNT, East and West, Travel Channel, True TV, East and West, and Practical Jokers, probably in the top 10 best shows of all time. Universal Kids, USA, and Vice. So that took a while. That's a pretty big list. Now, this would be compared to any mid to high tier cable package or satellite package. Now, they have a ton more channels that nobody ever listens to, like a million music channels that don't matter, a million shopping channels that don't matter. But this is very comparable with cable channels and local channels to any satellite or cable service. But this total for an entire month of service is only $55. So whatever you're paying now for satellite and cable could be replaced with this for $55 a month. And I don't mean $55 plus $10 per set-top box, plus FCC fees and taxes. I mean, it's $55 a month. You get the breakdown and it shows like $50 and then $5 for the taxes on top. So it's really, really affordable. And when you compare things left and right, picture quality is amazing. You're using the internet service. So weather, clouds, none of that affects it. As long as you have internet, you have the best quality TV service there is. And it's very inexpensive. It's very easy to use. Everything that I just showed you, I basically just use these 4 buttons right here. And it's very easy to set up. You just need a Roku or a smart TV that you probably already have in your living room. So that was a lot of information. Give your brain a second for overload relief. I am going to open the floor for people who are interested in asking a question. Go ahead and take your time. My coworkers back there are already snickering. Do we have any questions so far? We have no questions so far. Well, I hope you guys were really paying attention. Hi, Kiernan. What do we got here? I have a shout out request. Hello, Kiernan Lambert. How you doing today? I hope you're doing great. I hope you learned something. I guess I'll just keep talking about stuff. If you ask my coworkers, they'll tell you that I can keep talking forever. If you're really looking to save some money, a service that you would be interested in is Sling TV. Now, we don't have this as an example. I'm really sorry about that. But Sling TV has options that have a few less channels, but some of the really good ones, like History Channel, Discovery Channel, ESPN. You know, they have a sports package. But that service, that includes locals and a DVR and all that kind of fun stuff, they have packages that start as low as, I think, $29.95 a month or $29.99, whatever their pricing scheme is. So, I mean, if you're really looking to save some money, Sling TV, and there was another one that I think I had listed over here. Philo TV is really cool too. I think Philo TV doesn't have sports, but they have a lot of really other amazing channels, and it's very inexpensive. So if sports really isn't what you're interested in, Philo would be a really cool option for you. But I can understand if you like sports, if you have sports lovers in the home, all these other ones have a ton of sports. We went over Big Ten, ESPNs, Fox Sports. I mean, they're loaded with sports. Those are highly, highly recommended. Do we have a question yet? Do we have another shout out? I'll do any of those. Shout out to Gina, one of our other coworkers who's super awesome. Shout out to Allison, who's super awesome. Shout out to my dad. Hi, Dad. He's probably going to see this eventually. Let's look here. Well, let me think of some questions that are really commonly asked. One question that we get all the time is, if I already have a TV, do I need to get a Roku or an Amazon Fire Stick or something? The answer really depends. Some smart TVs, they just may not have the app that you want. Like, most smart TVs probably have Netflix and Hulu, but let's pretend that you really wanted that Philo TV that we talked about here in a minute. Well, if you turn on your Samsung or Sony or Vizio TV, whatever you have, there's a chance that it just might not have that app. And if you really like that app, but your TV doesn't have it, that's when you would get a Roku. You'd get a Roku, you'd plug it right into the back of that TV, and then instead of using the smart function of the TV, you just use the Roku. It works like a dream. People do it all the time. Another solution that a lot of people ask me about is a Chromecast. That's a really popular device, but I didn't mention it. A Chromecast is a cool device, but it needs another device to work. For example, a Chromecast would plug into your TV, but the Chromecast doesn't really have any built-in apps. Like, it doesn't have Netflix in the Chromecast. So what you would have to do is take something like your cell phone or an iPad, and you go to Netflix on the iPad, and then you cast it to the TV. So it kind of requires two devices, and then you can't use the iPad to do something else while you're watching the Chromecast. So it's a cool device, and it definitely has some uses, but it's not really what I would recommend to somebody who's like trying to get into this and wants a kind of simple setup to get going. Brands on TVs, if you're going to go buy a brand new TV, I would say don't worry about the brand too much. I would say focus on what the smart thing is in it. If you can get a Roku TV, TVs that just have a Roku built in, you don't have to buy a second device. And from any of the ones that I've seen and tested, they work really well. They're They're usually in the like lesser expensive category too, which is fantastic to get started. I haven't looked into that recently, but I mean, compared to Walmart and Amazon, prices on technology is just plummeting. So there's no better time than now to go out and buy a new TV if you need it. I can answer any questions about how the internet comes to your home, how the internet works in your home. I can answer questions about Wi-Fi. If you don't have any specific streaming ones, that's good. That means I did my job. But we can open it up to just any question about our service or anything. So does anybody have any questions? No? Nothing back there? Well, I want to keep this open for a little while.
Do you want to show them parental controls?
Parental controls is really interesting. I did mention something about that. The parental controls are really going to be focused in the app that you use, right? So the Roku has some, but Hulu is going to have more if that's the package that you choose. Sling TV has more options for parental controls. So if I go back to Hulu, we had an example of this pulled up here. It comes in these profiles here. So the showroom is the one that I'm showing you guys. But I have a kids profile too. So if I go down here to this kids profile, you can see that immediately the content that pops up is definitely geared towards a younger audience. Up here, we have many less options. There's a live TV option, but there's not like a TV shows and videos option where they can go through a whole catalog of rated R movies and stuff. So they restrict that on these kids profiles. If we go to the live TV over here, I'm pretty sure what we're going to discover together is that first off, it starts right away on Boomerang. But instead of that whole grid where we saw every channel, we actually just see like television shows that are geared towards kids on kids networks that are live now. So as long as you make sure your kid is on the kid profile, they should be pretty safe from a lot of the harmful stuff that you probably don't want them to watch. Now that was specifically Hulu. Sling TV, YouTube TV, AT&T TV Now, all these different services have these options. This is just what Hulu's looks like. But it's really going to focus on the specific service you choose. So if the kids profile is really important to you, make sure when you're shopping around, you find one that has really good kid options. That's going to be the best way to make sure that your family is safe. That was a good question. Thank you, Amy, coming out of the ballpark.
How about router placement?
Router placement. This is something I work with all the time. Obviously, being in technical support, helping people get the best experience out of Wi-Fi. When you connect to Wi-Fi, a lot of people don't understand some of the magic behind it. The good news is it's really simple. If you have a good, strong Wi-Fi connection, you're going to have a good experience. That's a lot easier said than done in some houses. Sometimes we have houses where the router, because of maybe a home office or maybe the way that the house is built, maybe it has finished basement ceilings and stuff like that. It's incredibly difficult to run a cable somewhere. Sometimes the router isn't really close to where you are. And that's going to pose a huge problem. Wi-Fi degrades as it goes through things. When it goes through a wall, a ceiling, a floor, a door, a refrigerator, things like this that's in everybody's home, it degrades. Well, by the time you get through one or two walls, it's going to degrade to a point where you probably will be connected, but you just won't really have the best connection. And sometimes that could lead to problems here. Like with streaming, you might see buffering or you might see the quality drop. Well, with our Midwest Energy service, we have not only really powerful routers that in most cases do cover people's homes pretty well, especially if they're kind of located in the middle or at least located close to where you're going to use the service. But also we have extenders. If there are spots in your home that don't quite get the best signal, we have these wireless extenders that they become a second access point. So Anything that's closer to the main router will connect to that, and anything that's closer to the extender will connect to that. So if one device won't do it, we do have a solution to cover your home in a really strong service. That way you can get amazing services like this to all your TVs. Another really great question. I'm ready to talk about anything you guys are. I do want to keep this open for a little while. If you got all the questions you need, feel free to leave. But I think I at least want to keep this open till 4:45, which is right around the corner. So let me think of some more stuff. Another cool thing about these services that I really like. I've talked a lot about TVs, but something like an iPad here, like this iPad can get the Hulu app too. So obviously it's not a TV, but if you are doing something like working from home, as many of us are doing nowadays, you could have a little tablet over here watching your favorite show in the background while you're doing your data entry or whatever you're doing. So these services, they just have really cool options. Let's talk about the DVR. The DVR is something that is widely requested. All of these services. Oh, we didn't even talk about on-demand content. Oh, there we go. We got some more time here. All of these services, they have regularly scheduled program. They have the news on at 6 or whatever. They all have built-in DVRs. You don't need a separate box. You don't need to pay extra money. They give you so much DVR space or time, just included with their packages. Hulu, I think, is something like 10 hours worth of DVR. Some of you DVR hoarders out there might not think that's very much, but Hulu has another really cool feature. I'm going to back out of the kid's profile here. And let's come back here. Exit Hulu. Come back in. With a service like Hulu, and the other services do this too. So Hulu's not the only one. But with these services, they just come with a lot of on-demand content. So your favorite show that you did DVR and you had 400 episodes on, saved to your DVR, it's very possible that they kind of just have that available. You don't really have to DVR it. So if I come over here to television shows, popular ones like The Big Bang Theory. A lot of people like that show, right? I like that show. If we come down here to episodes, we have season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it may not have every single episode in it, but I bet there's a ton of shows that are just available. You don't need to DVR them. You just watch them. For instance, in season 11, we have, this came out a couple years ago, September 25th, but we have episode 1, episode 2, and episode 3 that are just sitting there. And it looks like soon they're going to start adding some more that came out a while ago too. So these are definitely, it's just available at your fingertips. You just don't need a DVR for it. Let's see if we can look at another example here. Oops, got to go back to a different show. And just to go back, I'm hitting the little back button up there at the top. Family Guy, who doesn't love that show? It's okay. News. So today, NBC Nightly News, Friends, Law and Order. A lot of people, big request for Law and Order here. So they have, let's see here, 22 episodes of season 1, 21 episodes of season 2, 23 episodes of season 3, and they have it all the way up through, it looks like season 13, 14, 15. Oh man, it just keeps going, doesn't it? All the way through season 21. And if we look over here, let's look at some of these air dates. Well, they keep going. Hold on. April 23rd, 2020. That must have been the end of the season. But as you can see, they have everything on here. So for the people out there who really love their DVR, with these services, you just don't need it anymore. If you DVR'd this show, every episode's just here at your fingertips. That's why you don't need that DVR as much as you did before. So that's a service on Hulu. Sling TV has something very similar. Netflix is only the on-demand part, but it's really cheap. You can get Netflix. I think their first plan is right around $10 a month, and it just has tons of movies and television shows that's available. Maybe I can show you one of the cool things that's just free. We got something on here. Westerns. A lot of people love Westerns. There's multiple apps on a Roku. Now this is kind of specific to a Roku device now. This is where we're getting a little bit deeper into why do I like the Roku so much. But here on this app, there are hundreds of old Western movies that are just free. You don't pay a penny for the subscription. If you have a family member, relative, friend, grandparents, whatever it may be, who you just know they love Westerns and that's really all they watch their TV for, if they get a Roku and they can manage to get to this app with some buttons and an OK button, they can watch Westerns all day for free. And they don't have to miss it. They can play and pause and resume and come back to it and watch whatever they want all day long for no fee at all every month. They can toss their whole satellite or cable, whatever they have, and save a huge amount of money. So it's a little bit more specific to the Roku device has that app available. And they have some more too. There's definitely some hunt and outdoor channels that's really popular in this area. Let's see here. Western TV and movie classics, outdoor sportsman channel, outdoors.com. They're just getting more and more popular. All those ones that I just listed are free channels. They have content that updates all the time. It's not live TV. It's not the same thing as that, but it's free content that you can spend hours watching and enjoying. So some of these are free. Some of these you have to pay for. YouTube TV is a really good one too. YouTube, if you've ever heard of that, hopefully you have. That's what you're watching right now. YouTube became famous because people could upload their own videos. Well, YouTube realized that not only is that really cool, but also they can offer TV service, and they call it YouTube TV. That's another really amazing package. I would actually compare YouTube TV a lot with Hulu. In fact, if I didn't like Hulu so much, the one that I would choose would be YouTube TV. So a very similar price, very similar television channels, and a ton of on-demand content. So really, really cool stuff out there. Do we have any more? Last call for any questions. If you liked this session, if you know somebody who could benefit from this information, we're going to do the exact same thing at 6 o'clock p.m. tonight. Also, one of these two videos, whichever one is the best, is going to go on our website. So you can spend some time watching it in your leisure or share it with a friend to help them understand some of the really cool benefits of using this online streaming stuff. This is the reason why we're doing this. I'll talk about this for just a minute. I really love what we're doing. I really love technology. So the whole reason why I'm doing this, the whole reason why we're presenting this information, if you notice that none of these right here say MEC, and that's because we don't provide TV service. We are trying to help you understand some of the really amazing things that are out there, because we want you to take advantage of our really amazing internet service. And not only can you do all those amazing things on the internet, like communicate with your friends and family, connect with relatives that you may have never seen before. It's very lucrative. There are opportunities to become an entrepreneur. The internet is this amazing thing that's connected all of us. And it also has TV. So we wanted to help you understand how to really take advantage of some of that really cool stuff. So last call, any questions? Thumbs down, we're good. I want to, any of you who stayed through this and spent a little bit of time here with me, I want to thank you so much. Our website, teammidwest.com, is a great source of information. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope to talk to you soon, hopefully in a safe, reliable manner. So I don't know how many more of these that we're going to do, but I would encourage you to show up to another one, maybe come with some questions next time, and bring some friends and family along with you also in the comfort of their own homes. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you very soon.